Okay, so we should be up now. Go ahead and record this. Okay. Awesome. So I believe we are live. Oh, I was muted there. Well, all right. So I think we'll just wait for just a few more seconds here to allow folks to get onto our feed here, and then we'll go ahead and get started. But it's great to see everybody here. And it's also a beautiful day out in Seattle, Washington, so it's really nice.
Really beautiful.
Yeah. And that weather is slowly going away as well, slowly changing seasons.
It got cold last night.
It did, didn't it? It kind of like earlier on this morning as well. All right, I think we'll go ahead and get started here. First and foremost, I would like to pay my respects to Venerable TV and also all venerables that are tuning in to this broadcast, as well as all individuals that are viewing this as well, wherever you are in the world. First, would like to introduce myself. My name is Prince. I use he, him pronouns, and I am based out of Seattle, Washington. And I'll let my co-host also introduce herself as well.
Hi everyone, Pchum. I'd also like to pay my respect to Ang Devi as well, and just want to say thank you for inviting me to be a part of this discussion. My name is Jenny, and I am currently residing in Seattle, Washington. Currently, I am a single mom, or not single, sorry. I am a stay-at-home mom of a 10-year-old son and a 4-month-old. So I've got my hands full. I'm a second-generation Cambodian American, which means that I'm the first of my family to be born here in America. And as you can imagine, I grew up with having a lot of questions when I would be brought to the temple. And so I'm really happy to be here today to get some of those questions answered. And I think it would be beneficial for many of us who have that similar experience of going, but not really understanding what's happening.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jenny, for joining us. It is a pleasure to have you on today's program. And as you mentioned, as a second-generation Khmer American, I think it is very beneficial to have your input and your thoughts in today's program, especially during this vital time for Khmer Buddhists and Buddhists in general, as we are currently celebrating Pchum Ben. That's what today's program will be. We will be kind of answering questions from the community is around Pchum Ben. Now, especially myself growing up, there was a lot of curiosity around Pchum Ben. So I would like to just get right into it and ask Venerable TV, what exactly is Pchum Ben, and when is it and how is it observed?
Thank you for the question, and thank you for both moderator for coming up to this live show and brought a lot of good questions, which will be very helpful for our younger generation to understand more around Bon Pchum Ben which actually is the Khmer traditional festivals that closely tied with Buddhism. But if we look into the word Pchum Ben itself, this is like a Khmer word combined with a Pali term. Pchum is mean a collection or gathering, which is Khmer word, and Ben or Banda is a Pali word which means rice ball or ball of rice. And we also add another word at the beginning, Bon Pchum Ben. So Bon is which means festival or ceremony. So Bon Pchum Ben has become one of the most significant Khmer traditional festivals, and also it linked very closely with Buddhism. Traditionally, this kind of festival brings the spirit of unity and solidarity to Khmer people, and some people celebrate it as a remembrance of their ancestors. And for those who believe it, for those who practice and believe in Buddhism, it is a period of alms offering or donation to the monks at the temple during their 3 months rains retreat. So they need like the 4 requisites to be offered by lay people. And so with the merit being accumulated through their donation and offering, people can dedicate and share to their departed relatives. And this is how we celebrate Pchum Ben for today. And when it is observed, normally it is observed in the 10 months of the lunar calendar, starting from the first waning day. And for the solar calendar, probably between September and October. Right? This is the question, right, Prince?
Yes, that is exactly. I think you answered it very well. And I just wanted to follow with some other questions as well, if you don't mind. It sounds like, you know, Pchum Ben is a really important holiday, especially for Khmer people. How exactly do Khmer people observe this holiday?
Well, when there is a Pchum Ben day, people gathering to the temple, some bringing donation like food, like flowers, and some coming to the temple to help in any service like setting up, cleaning, arranging everything that need to be done for the ceremony. And also people can bring anything for the temple, and some they can do some good activity like giving away to charity, observing moral precept, practicing meditation, such good ethical conduct. We can see that people keep doing it, especially on this Pchum Ben day.
Thank you for answering that. I think that helps clear up a lot of curiosities around Pchum Ben and the different various ways of how we could participate in that. How long does Pchum Ben typically last?
Nowadays, only 15 days, but maybe in the past it has been conducted for 3 months for the whole rainy retreat of Buddhist monks. Normally we enter the rainy retreat for 3 months, so people understand the difficulty of the monks during the rainy season, especially in Cambodia. Because of the rainy season, the monks were very difficult to went out for collecting alms, and because of the muddy road and sometimes the flood can come over. And so understanding the difficulty of monks, people gathering to the temple, especially during this rainy season, in order to support the monks with necessity that they need. So nowadays, we only see that it is celebrated for 15 days.
Is there a reason why it's been minimized to 15 days instead of the original 3 months?
I think just because if there is a long period of 3 months, because people are too busy nowadays, even just 15 days, some people find it hard to come like for the whole week or the whole 3 week, 2 weeks or something. So it depends on people, you know. I mean, you can come any day, not just for this whole 15 days to support the monk, but any day you can do good deed, either by yourself or coming to the temple or to support the monks. It doesn't matter.
Thank you, Venerable. And with my understanding, I believe it is a tradition within the Khmer culture that when Pchum Ben comes, there is a thing called Vain, which is, with my understanding, of course, is when people from different villages or cities or parts of the region take turns in, going to the monastery and providing alms to the monks or various other donation. Can you explain a little bit what Vain is and how that kind of works?
It's just like people taking turn to make sure that the monks get enough food for each day. So people like agree on each other, with each other that they will take turn to become like the main supporter of each day, so that even there are no people coming every day, the monks still have enough food to eat. And that's how we call Wayne. Is a way of like people taking turn to mainly support the daily offering or meal for the monks.
Thank you. And I think you kind of mentioned with part of Wayne as folks going to the monastery and providing alms. And I think Jenny has a really great question she would like to ask about that.
Sure. Thank you. So yesterday I was really happy that I was able to go to the temple to observe Pchum Ben. And one of the things that I did was, one of the things that is something that's very common to do is all of the things that you're offering to the temple, you bring it you bring it towards the monk and you offer it to the monk then. And I actually just realized that process is called monk's goal. I'm still very curious to know exactly what monk's goal is. And Venerable Devi, if you can please just expound or explain and elaborate what it is, it would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, actually, this word has been used like in a different concept, and it has been used in a way which is far different from the original meaning of the term itself. So if we look into the Pali term Bang Su and Kula, what we call Bang So Kol in Khmer language. So Bang So or Bang So, that means dust, dust, and then Kula, disgusting things, a thing which is which is discarded and abandoned because people don't need it. So in the Buddha's time, there were a strict religious practice by some ascetics and Buddhist monks. They observe this practice by using only pangsukula clothes or robes. So the robe which has been abandoned, they call it a dust rag, a torn rag which has been abandoned. Sometimes they cover with the corpse or the body of the dead people, and they thrown away. And the monks pick up those robes and use it. And so this is called as a pangsukula or bangsukol. But nowadays, people use that word to refer to the activity when they bring the offering in front of the monks and offer it for the monks. The monks pick up those offering as a sign of of their practice, in order to, one thing is to practice for themselves, and another thing is to be able to merit making resolve for the devotees, for the donor. So nowadays we can understand this concept whenever people talk about Bang Skol. They refer to when we bring the offerings and offer it directly to the monks, and then the monk do some chanting. We listen to the chanting, and then we dedicate merit after offering the donation, and that's how it works for nowadays.
Yeah, and I also just learned too that when we're dedicating, as we're offering it, we're to, in our own minds, dedicate these offerings as merit to be shared with our ancestors. And I was always kind of confused, like, because, you know, given our history, I don't know the names. I mean, I think this is with everyone. Like, I don't know the names of my ancestors. So I know my mother, but then beyond that, I'm not able to name names. And I was just wondering, is it important to name names? And what do you do if you don't, when you're dedicating these merits to our ancestors? What do you do?
Yeah, it's good if you can mention the name, but you might have like more than 10, or some people have more than 100 names to be dedicated to. So that way you can just say it in general, like all your relatives, all your friends, or may all beings in the universe rejoice in the merit that you have done. And that way make it short, you know. Sometimes if you just dedicate specifically for the one who just passed away, say for instance your friend or somebody has just passed away by the name of Mr. A or Mr. B, then you can dedicate directly calling their name, you know, in short. But if you have like a list of departed deceased relatives, then you can make it short. This is also expounded by the Buddha in the Tirokuta Sutta. That's how one should, he expounded how one should dedicate merit to one's relative. He expounded in the Pali phrases, Itang vo nya tinang hotu sukita hontu nya tayo. Let this merit go to our relatives. May our relatives be happy and be liberated. And that's how we make it short, in order to volitionally and intentionally, out of a good intention, dedicate this merit to our deceased relatives. I think that that's very short. We can do it, and we don't need to waste more time, like so much time spending calling all the names up.
Thank you.
Great. I do have a follow-up question, Venerable. And I, as we continue to speak more about Pchum Ben, I'm constantly hearing that we are mentioning offerings being brought to the monks and offerings brought to the temple, the monastery. Is the monastery the only place that you can observe Pchum Ben or celebrate it? And if not, especially during this coronavirus, a global pandemic that is currently going on, is it possible to observe this holiday at home?
Traditionally, yes, it can, but also no. I would give just both answer. It depends on how your intention is. You know, like if we just celebrate it traditionally, then you can do anywhere. You can do at your home, just gathering your family, maybe enjoy the food, sharing food, and doing charity to your elders, to your grandparents, your parents. You know, it's a time of merit making activity, so you can offer and give love and care to your family. You have been so busy the whole year, so you even never have even one day to get together as a family, doing good, you know, not for doing party, but doing good it, so you can get together and do some good action. But when I say you should go to monastery, it is when we refer to the offering, because in Buddhist rites and ritual, when we talk about the Dakina Dana or Dakina Nopatien, the ceremony for the departed person, for those who passed away, it is important in this case that the offerings must be made through the virtuous people. For example, like monks or the lay people who are endowed with great virtue and good conduct, so that with the lesser gift, but it can produce greater benefit. So that's how, you know, the value of morality, of ethics of people, it will give a greater result. And so this is expounded by the Buddha, that for the ceremony that you specifically intend to offer merit to the deceased, to the departed relatives, that must be done through the virtuous people. And secondly, you have to dedicate this merit, you know, focusing and paying attention to your departed relatives and say some word in order to share with them. And then finally, number three, your deceased relatives have to rejoice in the merit that you have dedicated. Under these three conditions, then your merit can be accrued or achieved to your deceased relatives.
Thank you, Venerable.
Thank you. I guess my next question is, you know, holidays and observations, there's always a certain theme. And obviously the theme for Pchum Ben is about dedicating and bringing offerings to the monasteries. And I was just wondering, for Pchum Ben, is there a specific offering? Is there like, what is a traditional offering for Pchum Ben?
Traditional offering in Cambodia, people, you know, they make the noman som, you know, like a kind of sticky rice which wrapped with banana leaves, and they have nom kom, they have you know, nom chiel, I don't know how to call it in English, and that is like traditional offering. And then people make Khmer food and bring it to the temple. And of course, in general, people can offer anything like water, food, drink. You know, they can offer their service, coming to have the temple, setting up, cleaning, offering flower, budget to support the maintenance of the temple. That's in short.
Okay, thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Venerable. So for the folks that are listening at home and the folks that are at home and don't feel comfortable going to the monastery, you're able to, if you're able to donate financially, feel free to do that virtually if you can. Or if you know somebody going to the monastery themselves, you might be able to send you know, offerings along with them. But it sounds like what Venerable TAV has mentioned, there are various ways that we can offer our volition, our donation to the Sangha and the monastery themselves as a maintenance to uplift and uphold you know, the tradition. So I guess that actually brings me to another question that I think there's a lot of people that may have this same question. I know that we mentioned in the beginning that Pchum Ben is more of a, I guess, a cultural holiday with Buddhist ties. So does one have to be Buddhist to be able to celebrate or observe Pchum Ben, or is this open for everybody?
Yeah, not just specifically for Buddhists or for Khmer. Anyone can celebrate it, even though it is related with the Khmer tradition and also linked with Buddhism. Actually, our ancestors, especially long time ago in the Angkor period, especially during the 12th century, they also celebrate a kind like a festivity like Pchum Ben, but they call it as the Ancestor Day. So of course, that was not meant for Buddhism, but they celebrated in order to honor their bravery ancestor who have dedicated for the country. And so this from one generation to another, Khmer Cambodian people keep doing it. And nowadays, because of Buddhism strongly rooted in Khmer culture, like very interconnected. So that is why when people celebrate the Khmer traditional festival, they always combine with some religious activity in order to make merit out of festival. Sometimes when you just do, you know, a festivity without building some spiritual activity on it, sometimes it can be like, over spoiled, or it can be messy because you don't include some good activity in order to make benefit out of it. So some Buddhist scholar, they try to make people have opportunity in order to do some good action out of this cultural traditional festival. So that includes like the activity of alms offering to the monks, supporting the elders, and offering any donation to your parents, to your grandparents, such thing happen. And I think it's a good idea to include that because a lot of younger generation will, learn how to do good coming to the temple or not, doesn't matter. But the thing is, they learn to do good with their family, with their parents.
Thank you, Venerable. And just also a follow-up question with that. Do you have any words of encouragement for especially young Khmer Americans who are wanting to participate in Khmer but may not be fluent or don't feel confident in their Khmer but still would like to participate? Is there any words of encouragement that you could provide?
Yeah, if they don't really understand the language, it doesn't mean that they cannot come or approach the temple. They can come anytime, and especially not just bringing offering, but you can come and talk to the monks as well. The more we talk to each other, the more we understand what we should do and what should not do, and especially we understand the purpose and meaning of any festival, not just coming, following following your family, but without the right understanding and the meaning of it. So it's important to come and talk to the monks, and I believe some monks, they can speak English, even not very good, but still understandable. And sometimes we can understand by coming to see for ourselves. We see the activity, how is it going, how we do that, and how they manage the food, how do they offer, how do they, rob bath or bang skull, and such stuff. So just come and see, and then you will learn a lot from what you see.
Thank you. That's really great. I think that's very inspiring. And I really do hope that this video, this program, and also your words of wisdom and encouragement can bring more youth to the monasteries to participate in this this very important event. And I know that we're going short on time here, but I do want to just ask one last question here. And this is a question for all three of us to answer. But what is your favorite part of Pchum Ben?
We can go first, yeah.
Sure. For me, I think it's just going to the temple. It's always been a place that reminds me of my own childhood because I always went with my mom. And it just helps me reconnect with my roots. I think my favorite, though, now that I think about it, is eating the food because as a second generation, I don't get to, or I don't know how to make the really traditional Cambodian food. And so when I go to the temple and after we do our chantings and things like that, we all get a chance to eat together as a community, and we eat, and I'm sitting next to people that I don't get to see in a while, and it's so great to just catch up with them. The Ming and Foos and Ums that I haven't, I only get to see during these special holidays. So, and of course, enjoying Khmer food with them as well. So that's my favorite part.
For me, my favorite part is when I see a lot of people are coming to the temple. It shows the spirit of solidarity. We come together and enjoy the Khmer traditional food, and a lot of people are wearing Khmer traditional clothes, which I miss to see for 1.5 years since I lived in the United States of America. So it reminds me of our culture, our tradition. It shows our identity as Khmer people, and we come to the temple, and sometimes, especially I see some foreigners also joining, like Jenny's husband, he's American, and he's open to that, even though he was not call himself Buddhist or not, but he comes to make offering, and because we believe in good deed, and good action has no label. It's not like destined for only Buddhist or Christian or Muslim. Whatever good action is a duty and obligation for everyone. So that was my favorite part.
Thank you both. I think I would have to agree with both of you on that. I think, you know, one of my favorite parts, probably my favorite part of Pchum Ben is, I guess, the sense of community. You know, when we walk through the gates, when we walk through the doors and we enter the hall, I think just knowing that we're all there for the same reason, and we're there as a community, for the exact same reason. And I think that's probably, you know, my favorite part is just all being able to be together, to continue on our culture, our traditions, as Khmer people, and also as Buddhists as well. And I think it's very, very heartwarming to be able to see so many people in support of our culture. And as Verbal TV mentioned, solidarity. So I think that's just, you know, my favorite part, and I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, do either Venerable TV or Wang Jenny, do you have any last words before we sign off here?
Yeah, one thing that I'd like to just mention is that after our discussion today, it makes me realize that, you know, Pchum Ben is almost kind of like a Thanksgiving, kind of like a Christmas, where it's all about just doing good things and gifting, doing charity work and celebrating family and just being with family and appreciating and respecting it. And of course, family in Cambodian is, you know, what I find something that's different with the Cambodian culture is like family isn't just your immediate family. Family is your cousins, your neighbors, you know, friends, people you grew up with, and it's actually kind of cool to realize that we as Cambodian people, we actually have a holiday just like that too.
Yeah, for me, just you know, keep the door open for everybody and welcome to Bon Pchum Ben, and make sure that when you come, you follow and abide by the rules and regulations we set here at the temple, especially during the Corona period. We have to wear mask and use, you know, hand sanitizer, stay clean and stay social distance at all time when we gather at the temple. But it's important to remember to respect all those rules so that we stay safe, and then others also stay healthy. And then finally, happy Bon Pchum Ben, and may all be happy and peaceful. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Well, thank you, Venerable, and thank you, Wang Jenny, for joining today's weekly Dhamma Q A program with Tommy Gat Life. And I want to thank everyone for joining and viewing this broadcast as well. We definitely appreciate your support and your viewing. Again, if you have any questions, whether it's on Pchum Ben or within Buddhism in general, feel free to message us or fill out our Google form, and we'll be trying to answer all of your questions and curiosities. But thank you again, everybody, for joining, and we'll see you next week.